we told the Inspector General of Police in no uncertain terms to find, arrest, and produce the governor before this committee today. Has the IG complied with the advice of Parliament?
Chairman, we do not have any word from the IG.
So there's been no response from the IG?
None.
So it means that the person who is in contempt of Parliament, beside the governor, is the Inspector General of Police. Before we get into the excuses and the long stories that are being tabled before us by the governor, we must first ask ourselves whether when Parliament communicates to the IG of Police to arrest and produce someone before Parliament, whether it is constitutional and legal. Senior Counsel, is it within our mandate to do so?
I thought we read a letter from the IG. The IG is acknowledging that we have the powers, and he acknowledges that he has an obligation to arrest. What we should be debating is whether the excuse is giving that he's unable to find the governor, whether that is a good explanation. If you ask me, I think that explanation is not convincing. And maybe we should ask ourselves whether we need to summon the IG himself to appear before us and tell us why he's unable to execute the arrest warrants against the governor, Chairman.
For the record, we rejected or we responded to that letter, indicating that how did we frame our response to the IG? Because the IG says he was still trying to find the governor.
Yes, our response to the IG, dated 9th January this year, if I may read part of it, the committee has taken note of your efforts to trace Honorable Governor as requested. Consequently, this is to bring to your attention the resolution of the committee and to request you in accordance with the resolution of the committee to arrest and present the governor before the committee on Monday, 26th January 2026 at 10 a.m. at Committee Room 9, second floor, Bunge Tower, Nairobi.
So despite the charade of the IG's first letter, we again gave him an opportunity to do the right thing and present the governor today, which he has not done. Senator Wambua.
Chair, thank you. You know, I think let's just cut to the chase. First of all, we have the Senator of Samburu in the House. Article 96 of the Constitution gives him the responsibility to protect the interests of the county government of Samburu. I would be interested to hear from the Senator of Samburu whether they have filed with the police or relevant authorities a missing person report on the governor, because it's like he cannot be found. The guy disappeared. The police can't trace him. But Chair, when you look at this thing properly, it's the issue of games. The issue of games are being played by both the governor and the IG. I see him giving us some authorities, you know, UDA or Hassan Omar. I don't know who those are. There's a reason why he cannot appear. Chair, I think the Inspector General of Police knows far too well that him as a person, Kanja, is about to be leaving office. So he's just playing tactics so that then the burden, you know, goes to someone else. Chair, can you make sure that before Kanja exits office, he discharges that responsibility? It's not an option that he has. It's a responsibility he has been given by this committee. I thank you, Chair.
Were you implying that Senator Lelegwe should defend the interest of the governor as well?
I'm implying, Chair, that the governor is also property of Samburu. The person with the responsibility of taking care of those interests is the senator. And if the governor is missing, then he should file a missing person report with the police that we can trace him.
Okay, Senator Lelegwe will tell us. Vice Chair, then Senator Sifuna.
Yeah, Chair. I don't know how we would enforce accountability to these public servants, especially the governor, if the IG does not comply and bring the governor to this committee. I quite agree with you that we should hold him for contempt of this committee. Otherwise, we'll not be able to proceed. So it's a flimsy excuse that the IG is not able to locate, to find, to arrest the governor and bring him here. So I think he has not responded. It's pure contempt and should be taken as such and should be very firm on this chair that when you are ruling, let the IG be an example. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Sifuna.
Yeah, Chair, of course I agree with you that these are just games that are being played. I know that in court, when the court directs the IG of police to produce someone, if they don't produce that person, the IG himself must be summoned and appear before the court to explain what the difficulty is. For instance, the IG of police is based here in Nairobi. The governor has just told us where he is. The IG of police knows where that place is, where this meeting is happening of UDA. So let him come to us next time, or even tomorrow, to appear before this committee. If IG Kanja does not know how the governor of Samburu looks like, we can forgive him. If he doesn't know where State House is, we can forgive him. But the suspect, the person, the subject of the summons, has disclosed his whereabouts. How can the IG argue that he doesn't know where he is? So I think for us now, we should deal with the question of the IG first. Because we in the Senate, I see members of the public coming very hard on us that, oh, we don't do oversight. Oversight happens in committees of parliament, like here. These are the only places we can have these conversations with governors. And we are unable to do this. I'm happy that the Senator for Vihiga is here, because I think he's the one who sponsored the amendments to the Powers and Privileges Act to require that parliament probably needs our own police officers. So that the sergeant at arms here, we would have dispatched him to the gate of State House to wait for Governor for Samburu. Otherwise, the IG of police is not going to enforce any decisions of this committee. So I think the person to have the conversation with is not the governor for Samburu now, at this particular stage. Let the IG appear before this committee and tell us how it is difficult to find somebody as prominent as a governor, yet his own police officers can go to Homa Bay, find a young man there, drive him all the way to Nairobi and kill him in the cells here. Over the past few days, when we were in Mombasa, Senator, you know they stopped the MP for Kitutu Church South, Anthony Kibagendi, on the road here in Nairobi, on Waiwaki Way, blocked his vehicle, took him to a police station here in Nairobi, drove him all the way to Kisii and charged him in Narok. That is the police that we're being told cannot find a governor. We are being taken for granted, and the Kenyans must know the frustrations that Parliament is going through in terms of its oversight work. I can assure you this governor has no intention of appearing before this committee, and it will be excuse after excuse. After the UDA NGC, the next one is NDC. He will tell us he's also an engineer. Then they will tell us, oh, he's been put in the committee to negotiate with ODM over a coalition agreement.
Let's get back to.
So I'm telling
finances.
you that the excuses will not run out. The excuse today is that there is an NGC of a political party, and I'm telling you, political parties are in that season where there are meetings after meetings after meetings. Next, he will be hosting a delegates convention in his place. So let the IG come here. Let him be the one to take responsibility, because we don't have powers ourselves to arrest this governor and bring him here. That will be my view, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Sifuna. Senator Osotsi.
Thank you very much. I'm a friend of the committee. But honorable members, you know that I came up with a bill on this matter. And Senate passed the bill, and now the bill has been lying in the National Assembly. And this is a major challenge because, you know, our National Assembly has become an appendage of the state. Anything that is supposed to make Parliament stronger and independent is being curtailed in the National Assembly. Because this is a law that should have been passed even without waiting even for one day. But we have been undermined because the law is not moving. So that was meant to deal with the situations like this, where we find ourselves helpless. We needed to have our own police who can go and arrest rogue governors like Governor of Samburu. and others. But even having said that, Chair, I think it's the worst excuse for Inspector General of Police to say he cannot find a governor. A person of the level of governor is a person who can easily be found. If they can get time to go and attack people in churches, with the crude weapon, with the guns, then they can easily get someone of the level of a governor. So I think we should start by dealing with the Inspector General of Police. The excuse he has given is not admissible, is not acceptable, and I think I would recommend the chair that you deal with this governor. Secondly, the excuse that governors are giving of attending a meeting at State House cannot be tolerated. Mr. Chair, you know that we are here because of the constitutional deadline of 31st March. And members have come from their recess to come and work. But governors cannot use flames excuses like going to a meeting in State House, really, at this time when we are 1.5 years to the election. That is unacceptable, and in my committee today, we have demanded that all governors who are to appear today appears, and they have appeared, except one, whom we are going to send summons to appear. Because constitutional timelines cannot be less important than someone going to a political party meeting in State House. Mr. Chair, I think on that note, if you were to punish this governor, you need to punish him 3 times.
I hope you're not suggesting the police use the methods they used in church the other day.
I'm saying if they could use that, why not get the governor in?
No, we cannot validate that action. They must arrest him lawfully and in accordance with the
Chair,
standing orders.
is it that you, is a position that you and the Senator Viga, you're saying that you know that the police attacked somebody in a church? Is that what you are saying?
No, I think that should be expunged from the record. He gave an example, and I'm guiding him that those examples should not be applied in this particular case. Senator Dulo, any comment on this? Before the senator from
I don't have nice words for
Samburu.
this kind of governance, so I don't know.
Senator Lelegba, please give us guidance.
Thank you, Chair, and sorry for coming late. I was from State House attending that NGC meeting.
Did you see the
And
guy there?
I was able to be here. The governor is present at State House in that meeting, and Chair, we've convened as a committee to discuss this issue, and the clerk has just read several letters of this governor giving excuses why he's not able to attend our committee meetings. Mr. Chair, let me just inform you that this governor is not ready and does not respect Parliament. He's not ready to appear before this committee. And now he has the support of the IG not to attend. So we may face difficulties as a committee because the IG is not willing to arrest that governor to come and attend or to respond, knowing that we have pending issues of the last audit report we have never finalized because this governor has been skipping meetings and he has not been attending meetings, giving reasons that we cannot agree as a committee. I don't know how the committee will again address this issue today, but I think we should summon the IG, and I don't know whether our standing orders will allow us again to impose a further penalty on this governor, because I think he believes that when he paid the 500,000 fine that we fined as a committee, that was enough for him not to attend. So maybe he's willing to pay again another 500 and he will never appear for this committee. Thank you, Chair.
So,
Senator
Chair,
Sifuna.
perhaps an inquiry directed to the Senator for some. You know, previously I've seen this IG in political meetings. Is it possible that they are together with the government and State House? I have seen him in political rallies of UDA.
Chair, I have not seen the IG at State House, but I have seen the governor. He's seated there next to Susan Kik. So I will identify. Yeah.
Obviously, the officers of the IG are around there. And I think if they're listening, they should just arrest the governor and bring him here, because that's the only way of purging the contempt and solving the problem that is before us. But so I think we just need to be clear that all those love letters that the governor has been writing are null and void. They cannot cure, they cannot purge the contempt that he has shown the Senate. We are not here for malice or witch hunt. We are here because the Constitution requires us to be here. It is January. All other committees and members of the Senate and members of Parliament are still on recess. We are here because the Constitution requires us to deal with these matters within a period of 3 months. So let it not go out there that we are witch hunting or we are being too aggressive on particular governors. Whatever we are going to resolve will apply to all governors, whether they go for their NGCs at State House, or they go for them in Nyeri, or they go for them in Vihiga. It will cut across, because there will be no fear, there will be no favor when it comes to complying with the provisions of the Constitution. Parliament has the power under Article 125 to call for evidence and to compel the appearance of any person and to examine them under oath and the various provisions that are there in Article 125 in the Parliamentary Powers and the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. Parliament has got a legitimate duty to seek the support of the Inspector General of Police if witnesses refuse to appear. In fact, this is one of the few circumstances where Parliament can direct the Inspector General of Police. It is not the first time we are doing this. It is not the first time that Parliament or Senate is asking for the IG to find a governor and bring them before the committee, or to find a witness and bring them before the committee. And so whatever we are discussing here, really, there's a precedent that has already been set. The governor paid the fine of 500,000, but that did not fully purge the contempt. I think the contempt now lies in the hands and on the head of the Inspector General of Police. When we asked him to find arrest and present the governor, he told us that he needed time to locate the governor. We gave him time from the 4th of December. We asked him to arrest him on the 4th of December, thereabouts. And so when he wrote, is it 4th of December?
Yes, Chair, it was on the 4th of December for the governor to be produced on the 9th of December.
Yeah, so
he did not produce the governor. He wrote to us on the 18th of December asking for more time.
So we have been quite fair to the Inspector General of Police. He claimed that he could not track and he could not find the governor. And we were reasonable and told him, fine, spend a little bit more time, but make sure that the governor appears before this committee on the 26th of January. I think we've been very fair, we've been very procedural, and if the IG has not responded to that letter and has not responded by producing the governor, we must direct that the IG appears before this committee at the shortest time possible. And I think that would be within 7 days to explain to this committee why he is not willing to implement the resolutions of Parliament. We must start with the IG because he's the one who's now showing us contempt. And I think in the last Parliament, we had a situation like this. We invited the IG, he didn't come. We summoned him, he didn't come. We eventually imposed a fine on the IG. And the Inspector General of Police has previously paid a fine to Parliament for non-compliance with directives of Parliament. We cannot encourage a situation where the police believe that they operate under a different constitutional order. We have seen cases of contempt of court orders. We will leave that to the judiciary to deal with. But we shall not tolerate contempt of directives of Parliament. The IG's vetting is done by both houses of Parliament. And I was present when the initial stages, where the IG's vetting was being done by the National Assembly. And I must give it to the then Senate, because we stood firm and said that the vetting of the Inspector General of Police is a function of Parliament as an institution. And as a result, we found ourselves doing a joint committee when it comes to vetting of the IG. So the IG must also know that he's got certain responsibilities and accountability to the house that vetted him. And so he must come here and he must explain to us why he's not able to facilitate the work of Parliament. I think administratively, today being a Monday, 7 days from today, perhaps that could be Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We'll just look at our schedule, but that must be the person we demand appears here. It is only thereafter, that we will now listen to the stories and excuses that will come from the governor once he has been brought here by the Inspector General of Police. Unless there is any other comment, I think we'll, in terms of enforcement, legal, we shall have our conversations internally so that we find the smartest and the neatest way of executing what we have just declared.
Chair, sorry to come up.
Senator Ru?
Maybe auditors, can they tell us whether he has been cooperating on submitting what you asked him to submit for the audit purpose?
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. We did an audit of the financial statements of the Samburu County Executive, CRF and ROR. The report for 2024-2025 was submitted to the client, signed, and has also been tabled in Parliament. For the 23-24 report, the management has not responded to us. There's not given us any update on the recommendations for the 23-24. The same case for 24-25, they have not submitted to us any responses on the same. Thank you, Chair.
Fine. So those are things that we shall discuss when the IG brings the governor before this committee. That is the condition precedent, that the governor must be presented before this committee.
But Chair, there was a conversation we had, and I believe it was had with the National Treasury, that we need to invoke the material and persistent breach clauses of the Constitution to stop some of these counties from receiving public funds. If indeed that power is with Parliament, you need to demonstrate, even with the pitfalls of delayed exchequer releases that might mean that the governor does not feel the pinch. I think we need to do something about some of these counties. You had resolved that we do top 10 list of shame of counties with persistent material breach. The auditor has omitted to tell us what his own audit finding was like. Was it an adverse opinion? What sort of opinion was it in the first place? But a governor such as the one in Samburu, who finds other engagements more important. I thought we were told when we joined Parliament that parliamentary business should be given priority even to cabinet sessions. This is not even a cabinet meeting. It is a meeting of an organ of a party that you can just give apologies for and say, I'm expected before Parliament. I don't think any political party of repute would take it badly if you said you have parliamentary business to attend to. So Samburu must be on that list. That we need this governor to understand that if we cannot talk about the money that we as Senate fight to go to Samburu, if we cannot talk to the Senate about how he has utilized that money, we have no business sending money to Samburu.
Yeah, so I think in terms of even application of this resolution, we have been extremely reasonable. We have found situations where a governor writes to us and says, I was prepared to come for a meeting with the Senate, but the national government is in my county on that date and time. We have been reasonable, and we have considered those kind of requests, because we also encourage intergovernmental cooperation and collaboration. You know, we can't insist that the governor of Nyamira be sitting here and the president is in Nyamira doing something with the community health workers. So we are reasonable for those kind of situations. But it cannot be that the governor has chosen to pay a visit to the president in Nairobi and chooses not to appear before this committee. So we shall insist. There's a little room for consideration, But this is not a situation that requires any consideration. Let the IG come here and tell us why he's not doing what we have asked him to do. That brings us to a close on the matter of Samburu. Unless there is any other business, those are the directives. The legal team will find a way of crafting this, because sometimes governors run to court, but this is a clear matter. This is a clear matter of contempt on the part of the IG that I do not fear. Even if someone went to court, I don't fear that we'll get orders adverse to the Senate.